So as of 2026, a new Spider-Man movie approaches, and it has been out for a couple weeks now, but I am late to the party, but I want my turn talking about it, or our turn as of now.
Yeah.
Paul hasn't been in a Marvel review since then, but...
No, I haven't.
So in my opinion, the last one he ever showed up in was Infinity War? Or Endgame? So that was a long time ago. So like we're past Endgame now. So either way, we're gonna be reviewing Spider-Man: Brand New Day. So this is technically the sequel to No Way Home, and it takes place after the events of the third movie. Either way, how did you feel about it?
I think it's way better than the
previous ones.
Yeah. I think it's way better than the previous ones, and I think I got more satisfied with the fourth.
Yeah, the fourth one I think was. In my particular opinion, I think it was better than No Way Home. Like, No Way Home was mainly just a multiverse, like, fan service thing, but with a little bit of story involved. But one thing I don't really like about it, like, after rewatching it, was mainly the fact that there's silent, like, large swaths of silence when showing off cameos, you know? So it's like, they expect you to get up on the seat and scream a lot, though, but deep down it's awkward if you're watching it alone. You know, It's really weird. Brand New Day doesn't really have anything like that, thankfully, because it actually has its own cohesive story, its own, thing going on and everything. But the plot is mainly about Spider-Man or Tom Holland or Peter Parker literally going through the fact that everybody forgot about him, and now he's accepting the role of Spider-Man and has saved New York countless times and still continues to do so, but more threats loom around, lurking through the shadows.
And the problem is, he can't figure out which one to be. Either Peter Parker or Spider-Man.
Yeah, so he's kind of living a double life, also accepting the fact that he's been alone for quite a while now after No Way Home.
And he's trying to get back to interacting.
Yeah, so he's trying to figure out how to tell his friends if he even remembers anything that happened after the third movie. So in my particular opinion, I'm not going to spoil too much of it because people are still seeing it and the plot is really interesting, even given the fact that it takes place after the third movie. But yeah, I would say this though. 5 things I could probably give credit for because of how long, this review could possibly be.
Yeah.
But there even could be some hidden details that I want to punch out and even spoilers, so... Spoiler territory at the end of the video, but what did you think that was the first thing that you liked about the film?
There's just so much to grasp onto,
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on in the beginning of the film, but you actually understand it halfway through, But it's like...
I mean, I am glad to see the other Spider-Man villains show up, but the weirdest part is they get 30 or 1 minute of screen time.
Well, no, they get 30 seconds, maybe 60 seconds of screen time mainly. So it's they do show up, but it's not really as important to the other main villain that is part of the major focus of the story. But Tombstone, Tarantula, Boomerang, and Scorpion all make cameos.
Yeah.
But Scorpion doesn't really do that much, in my opinion, because he's just kind of there for, to advance the plot forward for the movie.
Yeah.
So he's kind of, I wouldn't say he's an exposition thing. I would say he's more of a
tactic.
A tactic for the main villain. So it's that.
Peter Parker.
Yeah, so that's what we're kind of disappointed by, because I thought Scorpion would have a more major focus in the later film.
I guess the Sinister Six in the Sony Cinematic Universe didn't go so well, didn't it?
I hate this company, but I also love Spider-Man at the same time, so bear with me here. This is what I'll say too, the part of this conversation of the first half that I liked, the street level of stuff, dealing with Punisher, chasing down criminals and, dealing with police and let alone dealing with other supervillains running around with different gadgets and weapons. Yeah. It's let alone the fact that Peter is even using gadgets even of himself, and he's even figuring out that he has super, even more arachnid abilities coming in for his, power boost. It's definitely an upgrade compared to what Peter had in, the previous movies. So he goes more organic webbing rather than tech-based. So he's more of the traditional Spider-Man, technically, but without the web gadgets.
Almost like Tobey Maguire's son.
Yeah, he's like Toby Jr., technically. So it's like, in my humble opinion, this is where the second half comes in. What I like about it is that the cast and the acting was really good.
Yeah.
So it's like Tom Holland's Spider-Man has proven to me that, like, to be honest, I really don't think we need a Tobey's Spider-Man 4. I mean,
or Spider-Man reboots.
No, like, do we really need, like, you know, an MCU reboot of Spider-Man at this point? Because genuinely, they're still setting up stuff for him in the later long run. But deep down is that this version of Spider-Man's a little bit more older and has learned many things over time.
Yeah.
And now he's going to be able to do organic webbing and all this other crazy shit now with the abilities of being a spider and half man. I find it hilarious that that's what they went with, but a really cool concept, because in the comics they reference that he is in a web cocoon, where that's where he gets his power boost mainly from. That said ability.
Yeah.
So he's basically dealing with being sick, but also balancing out his abilities and his powers. I would even say Spider-Man was really well written in this movie, Peter too. And he even dealt with the fact that his girlfriend was dating somebody else. So it's like, it was pretty sad to see that he didn't really get to be with her as much. Everybody was well written. Ned was good. MJ was still fantastic. Punisher, I still have some gripes with, because he could have been more aggressive and a little bit more of a dick towards Peter.
Well, we'll have to give it that. At least he was funny, yeah?
Yeah, he had some funny moments and banter between Peter and Spidey, but it's like, I never really pictured Punisher, you know, being like buddy-buddy with Spider-Man, since they were always, you know, rivals. But I get that they're trying to do something different with Punisher, but to me it doesn't feel really like Punisher.
I think the reason why I think they did this way, because I think when John Bernthal and Tom Holland were filming The Odyssey and that film at the same time,
yeah, they were all...
John Bernthal became almost kind of like his crazy-ass uncle.
Yeah, so it's like, I get that they were filming back-to-back movies, like, last year, and even in that year, this year alone, but it's like, I don't think John Bernthal understands Punisher well enough, or even Marvel, because he's straight up a psychopath. Like, he's not really meant to be, like, relatable.
I seen him kill people in the game we played that we actually played in a Capcom collection, you remember?
Yeah, but the Punisher I know isn't really an anti-hero, because they kind of just reduced him down to being a Wolverine-esque kind of character. But I did like the fact that he got to be with Spider-Man, because my little ADHD brain with comics, I'm at least happy that I got to see them do stuff and interact at least, so there's that. The Hulk was actually pretty fucking terrifying in this movie.
Oh, yes.
Like, we went back from square basics, though. We had Thanos whoop this man's ass so hard that man started doing yoga during She-Hulk, and then all of a sudden he started getting angry because of some bullshit that went down. The one Hulk that we have in this movie is Savage Hulk, so he's at least 9 feet tall in that regard. But in my opinion, they still handled him really well than they have in the last, like, 8 years, because as much as I like Ang Lee's Hulk, I still think Mark Ruffalo still got a good enough chance to be, you know, Hulk again. Just for a short period of time, sadly, but at least he got to fight Spider-Man, which, again, comic books really just be showing too many rivalries and, you know, fights between these heroes and anti-heroes and villains and stuff. In my opinion, the best part about the Hulk and Spider-Man stuff is their fight, and then Punisher does end up joining, but he ends up realizing that literally street level at best with Hulk. Let's get to the third part. What did you think about the fight scenes mainly? Like, which ones were your favorite technically?
I think the ninja's fight scene is
the ninja fight scene was really
I think
dope.
it was because Jackie Chan's crew members helped out with that scene, and it just works so well with Spider-Man.
Yeah, so it's like they used practical, mainly swinging for the fight scenes and some of the, you know, choreography, so... The funny part is, though, most of that shit was mainly CGI in the previous movies because of all the stuff going on.
Yeah, but they got to be more skill advantage with the...
Yeah, they took time to actually learn this shit and actually, like, pull it off, you know? It's like, if you do it multiple times, it takes weeks, if not months, to practice that.
Yeah.
So the fact that Tom Holland's Spider-Man was even swinging around
They
practically.
got to learn the way of the spider from Jackie Chan's crew.
Yeah, it's like, it's fucking sick. Like, I wish we could have more fights like that even in the next two movies. And if they're not, then we're doing something wrong, Sony. I don't know what you're doing, but hire this man Jackie to do more of your shit, bro. It's insane how crazy that was made.
The fight scene of Hulk and Spider-Man was pretty good, but it could have gotten a little bit more longer if I wanted to say.
Yeah, it could have been longer, but overall, I still think it was a fun fight scene. The other fight scene I think is super underrated is the Scorpion fight.
Yeah.
When he's like learning to use his abilities and then he ends up fighting him and then he slams him on a
police car.
Yeah, he slams him on a police car and then almost ends up killing somebody after that. But like not really dead, but like unconscious as a matter of fact. Either way, the fights were really well made and they were really aggressive too, even for a Spider-Man flick. Like we're like pretty crazy. Like some of them were pretty brutal. Like Spider-Man was even coughing up blood in certain scenes.
Right?
Yeah, it got brutal at times. The fourth thing would be spoilers, as a matter of fact. So we're gonna go into full-on details of the plot and then the movie. Okay? So now the movie begins with Peter learning his gadgets and he's actually just doing straight up Spider-Man stuff. So he's just going around the city swinging, arresting criminals and fighting villains and all this other stuff. And then people actually have trackers of Spider-Man around the city, so they actually know where he's at, so they can alert threats at all times. The one that built it was mainly Ned.
Yeah, I was gonna say Ned because
Ned was the one that still kept all that probably, despite not knowing.
And he was figuring out who Spider-Man was.
Yeah, so
he doesn't figure out who Spider-Man is at the end.
Well, yeah. I won't say for the end though, but like at the beginning portion, Ned was mainly trying to figure out who this man's identity was, and some of the things that were funny about it. Like, can I just say, the humor in this fourth movie was actually a lot funnier. It was. Like, the third movie still had its funny moments, but I think the fourth movie had better moments, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, they implemented the humor a lot better.
Well, especially the Elena scene.
Yeah, but big potatoes, small potatoes. I've seen the fucking memes, and yet I got spoiled by it either way.
And yet I already have a huge crush on Florence Pugh and stuff, and like she's a really great actress. And
yeah, she
doesn't care.
She was the one that considered that scene at one point.
Yeah, I bet she was the one to consider that scene.
Because she's normally known for getting naked in certain scenes. So it's like, she basically said, I'll be Yelena in the Spider-Man movie, but I have to be naked in a pool. And they're like, are you serious? It's like, yeah, but I'm not going to show anything. I'm just going to be up to here with my arms and shoulders. So it's like, no nudity whatsoever, but somewhat nude. But it's like, okay, one thing I will say that while the jokes were funny, this is kind of just from a theater experience, I genuinely hated the fact that there was just one woman laughing at almost every goddamn joke in the theater.
And you said that was an MCU person.
It felt, yeah, it's like one of those people, those kind of Marvel fans that laugh at every joke in the movies, even though half of them are either really funny or just none of them are funny either way. So it's like, I was kind of just sitting there in the corner of the theater. I was in like the top left. And I think she was all the way in the back of the entrance where the stuff was at. And it just felt really awkward at times because she was the loudest laugher out of everyone.
I hate to say this, but you didn't run to an MCU person who laughs all the jokes.
That must have been a Disney adult.
That must have been
Oh, God. I can't escape these fucking people, can I? It's insane how that works, bro. Like, not every fucking joke is that funny. Yeah, now Ned's trying to figure out who Spider-Man's identity is, and he's been looking all over for years now. And then Spider-Man realizes that there's mind control going on. People start acting really awkward, start doing these really unhinged things that end up hurting more people in the process and even do more chaos and destruction. So that implies that Spider-Man's trying to figure out whose identity this is that is doing the mind control.
None less than X-Men's Jean Grey.
Played by Sadie Sink. So I think it was pretty obvious, though, that like Sadie was gonna play Jean, but
mostly because of a new X-Men movie coming out.
yeah, like she was normally quiet about it from what I heard. Like
Yeah, she was really quiet.
Like she did not really say much about it though, but I think the media just kept it as like the worst kept secret. They're like, oh, she is Jean Grey. I mean, look at her. She's got red hair. I'm like, yeah, we fucking know. So what? Like, she literally is now that character, and I think this is probably the best that Jean Grey has ever looked and, like, played in a movie, in my opinion.
And she was given personality than how 20th Century Fox has given her the last time.
Yeah, so it's like, this version of Jean Grey, I think, is way better now because not only was she not really a villain, but she was mainly a troubled villain that needed severe help.
Yeah.
She mainly knew how to control her powers, but she used them for bad or mainly good. Mix of both, in my opinion, but deep down she was a little crazy.
Yeah.
But
she was a little crazy too, yeah.
Yeah, so then afterwards they start sending these threats towards MJ, right? And then Peter goes to MJ's apartment and he's like, I know you're in danger right now. I don't know why I sense it, but I need you to stay with me. So he brings him to Punisher's lair. Punisher's kind of, iffy about it at first, but then ends up warming up to her. And somewhat to Peter afterwards. So it's like they end up taking care of her. Peter ends up trying to find out more information with Jean, and Scorpion's been mind controlled, and that's what led him to his abilities being evolved, and then end up almost killing that cop afterwards. Yeah, Bruce ends up trying to help him with all this, inhibitor shit, so Peter tries to...
But it turns out that Jean Grey was also mimicking
Bruce too?
Bruce too, and that's where it leads to all that Hulk fighting Jean Grey scenario and stuff, and Punisher going, oh shit, that's I can't fight the Hulk.
Yeah, so there's a big fight between Punisher, Spider-Man, and Hulk, and I think it was a really cool scene. But then when the inhibitor chip breaks, that's when Hulk got let loose once again. He implied that he said, no Banner, no girl, meaning no, Jean didn't do it, it's me, only Hulk, is what he's implying.
Yeah.
So he basically let loose on Spider-Man, they end up getting into a big tussle, buildings start fucking falling apart and shit, and then Hulk ends up realizing that it is Peter. And the crazy part is, this is the first time that anybody started remembering Peter. And none other than the first one was Hulk and Bruce. Because he remembers him during Infinity War.
Yeah.
He remembers when they invaded just to find the stones. Or the time stone, if to be respective, right?
Yeah.
To be exact. Hulk ends up, calming down. He ends up getting into a psych ward, sadly, and this is probably going to be the last time we'll see Hulk for now. Maybe he'll be saved for Secret Wars. I don't know, but we'll see.
We'll see what they'll try to come up with.
I just want to see Hulk throw hands with the Thing. Can I just at least have that? Because if you give me Spider-Man versus Hulk, give me the Thing versus the Hulk. That'd be sick. MJ starts really making these, I think I may have remembered you because Spider-Man saved me a couple times, right? And I may be thinking, okay, maybe she's implying this because she slightly remembers, right? Similar to how Ned does.
Yeah.
But then it's implied that they go to a rooftop. They end up talking to each other, getting deep about the conversations they had and the memories. And then the twist. He takes off the mask. She ends up kissing him. It's Jean Grey controlling MJ. And my jaw dropped to the goddamn floor knowing that the fact that it was her the whole time doing that. So, and the whole time Peter was trying to keep her safe, she was still unprotected.
Because I mentioned that before about the going to the Punisher part.
Oh yeah, well the Punisher stuff I meant too. I already pointed it out either way.
Yeah, but the moment that MJ does find the letter that Peter wrote, whatever you did for me, I'm really happy for you and for me.
But that version of me is not there anymore. I don't remember anything.
Yeah.
So it implies that MJ doesn't remember a single thing, and that was just Jean manipulating her the whole time.
Yeah.
And it really shattered Peter, in my opinion. I think he starts to evolve his powers even more afterwards, and then he starts to...
So he tries to confront Jean.
That
he was wrong.
That he was wrong. And the twist is that with the backstory of Jean, they imply that she had a sister. And her sister was kidnapped, and she's been trying to find her for years, I would say.
Yeah, in the moment she got locked up, that's where the same place that her sister was locked up, but now gone.
Yeah, because they experimented on her, and then the twist finds out that they hunt mutants. And they were looking for Jean, especially after her sister died.
Yeah.
And she implies that my sister was in this room and she knew what happened.
Yeah.
So that means she's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's no longer with us. Literally mind controlling and freezing the whole city in place. And I think all of them literally got a taste of what Jean and Peter were feeling during that whole fight.
Especially the theory that we're about to talk about with MJ.
Yeah, now this is with the ending, right? This is where we get into the ending of the movie, right?
Which leads to the theory.
Yeah, so after the final battle, it's implied that MJ may remember everything that Peter and Hera went through. Because you could literally see it on her face, because I'm implying that...
When she's tearing up.
Maybe she felt both Peter and Jean's memories.
Yeah.
Maybe now that's why she was crying, because she was frozen from all that.
Yeah.
Even Ned too. I think he was kind of shocked or something. He had no clue.
All it took was one secret handshake that Peter and Ned.
Yeah, it was the handshake that literally got them when they were in high school, like their secret handshake, and then he went, Peter. Peter just smiles, and then it just cuts to black. And my God. That's one way to end a movie right there. It was emotional, for sure.
It was.
And then the post-credit scene, I don't know what this is implying, but I think we could have had a scene for this, in my opinion. But they're saying that Spider-Man is off Earth, and he's on another location and is unknown until they found him in the middle of space. Secret Wars, baby. How the fuck else are they going to imply that, right?
Because it's all a black spot detail.
Yeah, it was literally a black dot is what it was. You didn't see any eye holes on it.
A red and black dot I saw.
Yeah, so maybe he got in contact with the symbiote, maybe.
Well, maybe from Noel.
I don't know what the fuck they're coming up with at this point, because whatever Marvel's got thrown at me, bro, do not shelve the Fantastic Four and X-Men after all this, though, because I'm just riding off the coattail of what Marvel built at this point, because they've been doing this shit since Endgame. Fuck it. We get fired anyways, Ernie. I think this movie's really great. I think you're gonna love it, though, if you're a massive Spider-Man fan with all the references and, Easter eggs and callbacks to other stuff. But either way, I would give this film a solid 9 out of 10. Either way, I think that's about it for this video. What are your guys' thoughts on Brand New Day? Did you like it? Did you hate it? If you hated it, then you don't understand Spider-Man. I'm sorry. So, anyways, see ya.
In the morning, Spider-Man, friendly neighbor Spider-Man. In the morning.